Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Dak Prescott sends two-word message on Cowboys' loss to Saints. The Dallas Cowboys fell to the New Orleans Saints in a big way on Sunday, September 15, with a 44-19 final score. Franchise quarterback Dak Prescott signed a new contract extension with the Cowboys on September 8, and the four-year deal is worth an upwards of $240 million with $231 million in guaranteed money, so many are looking to Prescott for answers. When asked about the loss, Prescott had a two-word message. Speaking in a post-game press conference on September 15, Prescott was asked how the Cowboys would respond to the Saints' victory. "I'm confident," he simply stated. He added, "I know I can go in there and set the example of how we're going to move forward, how we're going to respond, and how we're going to approach this week. Understanding it's a process. I already echo it in the locker room, how we're not going undefeated." Coach McCarthy said that at the end of the day, wipe that all behind. Prescott also said that the Cowboys were going to learn from this experience. "Can't wipe it until we've learned from it. We build off it," he said. "That was a good team. They started fast, 2 weeks in a row. You have to give credit to them. Understand that this is the NFL, once again. For these young guys, it's a message to not necessarily listen to the outside noise or how good people are going to make you after one win." The quarterback later went on to note what he described as the high-profile position of the Cowboys. He said that he believes, especially in this organization, when you're playing on national TV every week, you are the Cowboys and the attention that we get is, if you lose, you're down here. If we win, you're way up there. None of that really matters. It's about for us to trust the process, trusting one another, responding each and every day to get better. I know that we have the guys in there that can do that. He continued, "The coaches and the staff put a lot into the emotional intelligence, I guess you can say. I'm excited to get back to work tomorrow and turn this page." In the same September 15 press conference, head coach Mike McCarthy was asked what he learned about his team from the Saints game. "What did I learn about them? I think it's just, this kind of tells you where you are," he said. "We've played 2 games, and the consistency of winning in week 1 and building off that did not occur today. So, we took a step backwards. So, we've got to get back to work." McCarthy also gave props to the Saints, stating, "I felt like we were playing a playoff-caliber team." Micah Parsons and Mike Zimmer disagree on the reason behind the Cowboys' Week 2 loss. Winning big one week, then losing in devastating fashion the next is a very Cowboys-ish thing to do, and of course the Dallas Cowboys did. In Week 1 of the 2024 season, the Cowboys traveled to Cleveland and dominated on both sides of the ball. The Cowboys' offense put up 33 points on a tough Browns defense, who were ranked number 1 in 2023. Meanwhile, the Cowboys' defense was relentless with 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble. After paying quarterback Dak Prescott and filling defensive needs, it seemed like the Cowboys were primed to be an elite team. Then it all imploded in Week 2. The New Orleans Saints came into AT&T Stadium looking to make a statement, and they did in a 44-19 victory. The Saints' offense scored on 15 straight possessions. RB Alvin Kamara reminded the league how dangerous he is with 115 rushing yards, 65 receiving yards and scoring 4 times, while the Saints' defense came out hitting and racked up 8 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, a forced fumble and 3 sacks. Following the loss, the Cowboys' defense was called into question. New defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, Mike Zimmer, told reporters on Monday he didn't think the team's effort was an issue. But defensive star Micah Parsons disagreed. Parsons shared on his podcast, The Edge with Micah Parsons, there was a lack of effort. The effort was not there by all 11, the basics fundamentals of the game of football was not there. At the end of the day, you have a standard of who you during training camp and throughout this process to get you ready for the season. We didn't uphold that standard. Was it the preparation? What was it? I don't know, Parsons vented. Parsons added that he wanted to be that guy for the Cowboys this season and wanted to see the team get back on the right track. During Monday's press conference, Zimmer said it wasn't an effort issue, rather it was just the Saints that beat them. They, Saints, beat us off the snap quite a few times. That's my fault. I got to get them better ready to play than that. I talked to them during the week about it, but at the end of the day, we didn't get moving quick enough. Obviously they got a good scheme, but it was things we worked on, said Zimmer. While the two defensive leaders don't share the same reasoning, they both took ownership over the loss, which could be the right step for the defense if they hope to regroup. Now the Cowboys must prepare for another offensively stacked team in the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens fell 0-2 in Week 2, making this Week 3 matchup crucial for both teams and their playoff aspirations. Cowboys encouraged to sign former Eagles starter immediately. The Dallas Cowboys lost to the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, September 15, in a lopsided 44-19 final tally. In a September 16 piece for Bleacher Report, NFL writer and expert Matt Holder notes that it was a humbling Week 2 for Mike McCarthy's crew as the Saints jumped out to an early lead and never looked back. That leaves Dallas searching for answers at 1-1 with a matchup against Baltimore next week. He also names a former Philadelphia Eagles player who he says the team should add now. In the piece, titled Prioritizing Every Roster's Biggest Weaknesses Before Week 3, Holder suggests adding linebacker Zach Cunningham to the Cowboys roster. He has Cunningham under the Add Now designation. While the Cowboys linebackers played well in Week 1, they struggled to contain Alvin Kamara on Sunday, he stated. Kamara rushed for 115 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, and 4 touchdowns to go along with 65 yards and another score as a receiver. Cunningham could at least help slow down the running game, so he might be worth keeping around on the practice squad, at least as a just-in-case option. Cunningham was selected by the Houston Texans in the second round of the 2017 NFL Draft as the 57th overall pick. The Texans waived Cunningham in December of 2021, and the Tennessee Titans claimed him off waivers that same month. Texas released him in February of 2023, and the Eagles signed Cunningham in August of 2023. He became a free agent in March 2023. In a September 14 piece for Section 215, writer Devin Platana discusses former Eagles players who are free agents, including Cunningham. He had some not-so-flattering things to say about the linebacker's time with the Eagles. Zach Cunningham only spent one season with the Eagles, and it was forgettable, to say the least, he wrote. The former 2017 57th overall selection registered 54 solo tackles, 4 broken-up passes and a fumble recovery in 13 games with Philadelphia while failing to do anything memorable. His play also worsened as the season progressed as he finished with a Pro Football Focus defense grade of 59.6 or worse in 6 of his last 9 games. Platana added, at the end of the day, Cunningham is an inconsistent tackler and pass rusher who also has his struggles in coverage. Until he can prove that he can play more of a complete game, his job opportunities will be few and far between. Also in Holder's piece, he suggests the Cowboys target Tutu Atwell of the Los Angeles Rams in 2024 NFL free agency. Speedy wide receiver Brandon Cooks is an impending free agent and turns 31 years old at the end of the month, he stated. Meanwhile, Dallas also has several other players whose contracts are about to expire and might be a bigger priority than Cooks. But if the wideout isn't retained, the offense will need a deep threat out wide. He concluded, that's where Atwell can come in, as he's been known as a burner since coming out of college. He'd be a downgrade from Cooks overall, but the 24-year-old who turns 25 next month would be a more salary cap-conscious addition and can at least threaten defenses down the field. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Zach Cunningham? Leave your opinion in the comments.